Hello Scorpio and welcome to Cat Tarot. My name is Kat. I'm going to be your guide for the session, and you never know, maybe Safi is going to join us. She was just here a few seconds ago. So far she didn't make her presence today, but you never know. It's just a pure luck when she appears. So guys, a quick info about this reading is going to be divided in two parts. The first one is going to be your monthly forecast for January 2021. Yay, we are in the new year. Second part is going to be quick introduction to 2021 with oracle message. So I really like to do the January first because it kind of like sets the stage. It's kind of like the tasting process before you commit to which bottle of wine you're buying. So let's do that. So my Scorpios, January 2021. Scorpio, January 2021. All right. So it's starting with seek. Oops, what did I do here? I just wanted to pick it all up, and now I have the two cards on the bottom, which I believe are connecting to it. I'll need to. Sorry, just check to see if there are more of them on the floor, but they are not. So I'm just going to put them and they are going to come to their order. I think this was reversed, but this is really telling me that maybe something is feeling up is down and down is up. And it's kind of like a new phase that we are going through. This card represents you, all the softness and kindness and gentleness. But maybe there's like some kind of control in the situation, unless you're dating another water sign or another Scorpio, right? So something is out of place over here. Maybe fish is out of the water. Maybe certain things are not kind of like positioned the way you want to be. Given that this woman, this Queen of Cups, is generally kind of like ruling our emotional world, and she has this biggest cup of all, kind of like to give. But here it's all kind of runneth dry, if you wish. I'm really wondering if this simply means that maybe you're having some kind of like relationship conflict and you're focusing rather on minute details of that relationship rather than focusing on hot sex, because this is also a very sexual card. We have a Two of Earth here, and yes, of course, I glanced at this card, so I knew what is ahead, right? So this is really talking about kind of like having things in balance, only kind of like paying attention to what is immediate, what is like in our vicinity, what we really need to do. Sometimes life brings us challenges like that, where we simply are spreading ourselves too thin. But this card really talks about this juggling and balancing, or simply this combination can literally mean that somebody is juggling somebody. There could be a balance of some sort. Maybe there are two people that somebody's choosing between the two, or between the two extreme, to be or not to be with you. This can also talk about work situation and work home. Is it like a work and life balance? And maybe there's like situation of that sort that is coming to play. You have a Fire King over here, which can talk about a person coming your way, and somebody who maybe wants some action and some kind of like, things to happen. There's like somebody who's probably eager, who cannot take pandemic anymore, and let's move forward. There's also very good card when it comes to searching for a new partner, except the Queen is reversed. So she is crying and manipulating all the time, and this could be you and being difficult, right? But this person is trying to be very positive in a situation and kind of like trying to show you the light and way out of it. Sometimes especially if this is a woman and this is a man, because this is a general reading, and in general reading I kind of like don't divide that in gender. And just keep in mind that also you always need to check your sun sign, your move sign, and ascendant in general readings, so you can get as many details as possible. So even if one single message comes through, that means it was meant for you. So this means that maybe somebody is telling you what to do and you're resenting it, and like you're almost like stamping your feet, or somebody is stamping their feet. You're not going to tell me what to do. But somebody can also have a personality a little bit of Sherman Tank, where they just like want what they want, how they want, and Nothing is really coming into their kind of like awareness other than their own wishes. So just keep it in mind. But overall, I really have to tell you, looking from the outside, this is a really person who has a really good influence, who has really good ideas. So it would be actually really wise to kind of rely. And this person is somebody you can trust and you can fall back to. There's Eight of Fire here, so it could have been a situation that you had or you are hoping for to kind of like have some love messages or have love exchanges. This card would generally talk about zoomies or love arrows, and so there is the burst of activity of some sort. Maybe, you know, it was just too much of a good thing for you. And as I said, like, I mean, there is like some kind of like, oh, you did that, versus kind of like focusing on some kind of like emotional component. So what is the water and fire doing when they're together? It seems to be a couple that is kind of disconnected. That has been something that has been going on, has been nice and passionate, but things got in the way. And it could be things simply a daily life. Simply, you know, I need to pick up my kids and the other partner just became jealous or overly kind of like dramatic, right? So this is like almost like describing my little dog Tiger to a T. Whenever he goes out with his dog walker, you can hear him freaking barking as if, you know, she's slicing him into tiny little pieces, right? And then 5 minutes later, oh, you know, I'm on a walk. I'm kind of like fine. So that's kind of like something that you need to figure out if this is you or this is somebody else doing it in your life. Maybe you're this positive force. Maybe you're offering hand or a way out to somebody and they're just sticking to whatever the one thing they know because this is kind of like known and they're like afraid of the unknown. And then you have Earth King over here. Holy moly, look at that. These two kings are mirroring each other and they're extremely positive influence. It's almost if this is you, you have people who are coming to your rescue. You're sending signals of them in distress. And people react to that. They want to jump in. They want to be the hero. They want to be the savior. Some person is telling you pragmatically what you need to do. Other person is possibly offering you financial help, or this can be also a boss. But Earth King generally also represents a mate, somebody who is steady. All kings generally represented, but this one in particular is somebody who can be, let's say, a marriage partner, wedding partner, that kind of like sort of things, right? So now two of them mirroring each other means you have an option if this is you. If this is not you, you could be one of these positive things looking at the couple or somebody who is possibly affecting you and your state of mind, your life, and so on and so forth. So let me see what mirrors this card is the Six of Sky. Just maybe there is some kind of conflict and maybe this is you didn't get your way and you couldn't care less. You're just leaving this mess behind. You just like want to get out of it. Somebody is getting out of it. That's for sure. You did show up to come to Scorpio. You love Scorpios? Huh, Safi? Hi, Safi the kitty. I was announcing your possible presence, majestic, pretty kitty. So this is kind of like really interesting over here because there is like no point of something, and that's what I said, like don't, it almost looks like, and I'm having this really strong feeling that this month is going to be quite a bit about relationships, right? First and foremost, we are entering into Mars in Taurus on the 6th, and this is like about self-care, what I need for myself. And generally you are a fixed sign, so you tend to be the pillar for the others. So once when you need to recharge your own batteries, when you need to kind of like reboot your own system, you know, other people, what about me? And this is like the dependency that may be transferred into codependency. You may be finding yourself not on a suffering side of codependent relationship, but rather on kind of like now realizing that there is somebody who is kind of like completely, maybe even clueless without you. It's not that you're dealing with somebody who is completely infantile or stupid, but somebody who is maybe not as resourceful, let's put it that way, as you are, right? Keep in mind that this month is going to be really tricky with texting. We have Mercury going into Aquarius at one point on the 8th, and then it goes retrograde on the 30th. So be careful when it comes to texting, because generally you might send a really, really hot invitation for sex to somebody else, or your partner might do that and you can find out about it, which was just simply kind of like, mistake. And it's kind of like hard to undo mistakes, especially if you send your nudes. So no dick pics, okay? And that's going to be very, very important. So it's going to be really interesting when we enter Aquarian season on January 19th. That's when things shift, because kind of like we are pillars, the fixed signs, and Aquarius is one of these pillars that is really right next to you, and kind of like they offer a certain sort of strength. And we see that here in the air card. You're kind of like fed up with certain things, but you need to remember that even though we are entering into that air in Aquarius, and maybe you're fed up with some bickering, with somebody wanting their way, you also need to understand your water sign, right? And look, you have the fire, you have the earth over here, right? And it's kind of like you're getting kind of like different fulfillment from different sides. But why are you walking away? Like, why are you not trying to understand the world through your own element? That's kind of like what is the interesting thing here. This is your own house, and this is a karma card. You're getting this card. It is called Consequences. It's upright. So this card is really interesting, because this card is always describing a situation where there's like that moment. You kind of like things are kind of turning in your favor. Mind you, sometimes this also can mean that there's a proposal on the way. It could be legalese involved. Maybe somebody is kind of like organizing some kind of like contract. But karmically, this really means that, hey, I'm kind of like getting out of these things, and things are going to flow better from kind of like parting from this point on. So let's see your environment. In environment, you have 8 of Cups reversed. Maybe there is a breakup, short breakup over here. I think it's going to be escalation around the 6th. That's a Mars, Taurus, and this is not a good fitting, right? And Taurus is also the opposite of your own sign, so that's kind of like can create a counterpoint or tension. Somebody's being a devil's advocate over here, and it could be like the words exchange, which doesn't have to be complete breakup if you're with somebody, but it could be just simply, okay, we'll talk about it later, but kind of like somebody that you got on somebody's nerves, or somebody got on your nerves, kind of like a situation where this 8 of Cups is a situation that falls in your environment house, meaning somebody else. So that somebody else maybe walks away, and then now it's coming back, and it's this emotional understanding of, yeah, maybe I will find better. But that maybe is just a maybe, and it might take another 50 years, and I don't have that much. But I have everything already here fulfilled. So it's kind of like sometimes you need to know what they say. You need to lose somebody to really realize their value and how much kind of like they penetrate in your life. This is kind of like what this person is kind of like finally getting to. And it's kind of like that aha moment that's happening. So then you have a hopes and fears, and there is like this 4 of Pentacles reverse. I don't know. I think there is like somebody here financially holding back, and maybe they kind of like had their walls up. Maybe they're really afraid for their livelihood and for their well-being, or how things will work out, right? And maybe kind of like you want something and they don't tell you the real reason why they are not moving forward, but the real reason is kind of like being tight, being kind of like thrifty, let's put it mildly over here. Simply kind of like you're triggering some kind of like things that have been really important for them in the past, and now it's kind of like maybe they need to move to the next level. Maybe this is like a proposal. Maybe you want to move together, and they now have to reveal more intimate parts of themselves, or maybe they had bad experiences about it in the past, so now there is like this frustration coming through. But it looks like they're coming back, looks like they're understanding, looks like they're realizing that putting their walls down is the best solution going forward, that they have to work and deal with their own fears. And that's kind of like, it's internal struggle, not external struggle. So same thing for you. Again, I'm keep picking up this whole thing. It's kind of like relationship bickering, or if you're not in a relationship, it's kind of like bickering about the relationship, or with prospects, and there will be numerous prospects, and kind of like nobody's really good enough. Instead of really focusing to how your element connects, which is through intimacy, which is through sex, and looks like you're going to be able to have plenty of that. And Seven of Fire is here. It's kind of like interesting card, because look at what is happening here. Look at the difference between this. Here it was a fight where clearly the key participated, but decided, forget it, I am out of here, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Which is kind of like a good thing, right? Kind of like sometimes it's the best to walk away and cool heads kind of like prevail. Here you can see one kitty that is clearly winning this battle. Why? Because it's a better position. Somebody have already established something. Somebody already reached some point of kind of like, winning, if you wish, and now they are trying to maintain their position. They're trying to maintain what they have. In relationships, sometimes we need to negotiate, and actually negotiation comes every single time when people try to exert their power. And you're a fixed sign. You need to be powerful. You need to make sure that your pillar is always intact, and hence you tend to control. And sometimes people kind of go with the flow because it either works for them, they don't want to be confrontational, and other times they will just kind of like show you their teeth, and you'll wonder where this is coming from. All of a sudden, like, this is a problem, and before it really worked. So it almost looks like that you are kind of like trying to control the situation. You're trying to control where this is heading, where this is going. Look, you have one major arcana. That major arcana is falling in your own house. It is really telling you that basically you're promised that things will go in a good direction. That whatever it was, what kind of like entanglement that you had, are kind of like done with. Consequences are here. Chips have fallen. This is it. You now need to move forward, right? So it's maybe kind of like needing to kind of take some time on the outside and look into kind of like what you really need, and maybe approach the problem completely differently. But it seems to me that you really feel that you're the one who is right, and this might be 100% true, and you're not really giving up. So all I'm saying here is try to kind of like maybe heed the advice of what you were getting here. Maybe one advice is kind of telling you about the actions you can take. Another advice is the financial one, or maybe try to kind of like see how you can accommodate that in order to allow this person not to have fears, because maybe this person trying to kind of like hold back, and it's maybe somebody sending you mixed messages of a sort, kind of like, yes, I want to move in with you, yes, I want to be your girlfriend, I want to be your boyfriend, but then you cannot pin them down for a date, right? So that's kind of like can be the flavor of this month. Now let's see the flavor of the year, my dear Scorpio. Let's see what we get there. So this is going to be just a quick overview. So let's see what we have. Scorpio 2021. Mind you, having a Safi again, you have a little kind of like good luck token, so keep that in mind. Scorpio 2021. This deck, I'm only looking upright. So, you have the Lovers. So there is the promise of some hot and steamy. And you have the Lovers and the Two of Cups. Now these cards rarely come together. Even rarer is the occurrence when they're both upright. Even though I don't look up and down, they were both up, which is interesting. Woo, you have the Source. So again, it's somebody reappearing from the past, or somebody with somebody you're reuniting and kind of like making this like much bigger. Look at it. This is like the egg being fertilized. There is like the creation of some sort, right? And then there's the Adventure. Oh my gosh, I love this card. It's like so freaking adorable, right? So where do we go with this? There's like the year of some kind of commitment for you. I think the big flavor of the year is going to be a balance between emotions and pragmaticism, what needs to be done. Maybe one person still wants to kind of like do some kind of like footwork on the relationship, or if you're single, just beware that you're going to be meeting people who might appear not to be equally ready, but they are ready. They're just simply working in a different system, and in a different system they kind of like need different requirements, right? And this is kind of like what is really important. It's almost like, because you're fixed signs, you always feel like that you have a destination, and then you're pushing it toward this destination. But the truth is, you should really just enjoy the flow, right? And that's going to be important. You have like 4 different elements. You have air, water, fire, and earth. So it's in balance. Everything is like kind of like falling together. Everything is really, really working well over here, right? So I really think that maybe you're going too fast, and maybe you need to slow down a little bit. But there is like some kind of blossoming love. And this card is really interesting, kind of like rendition of 2 of Cups. It's showing 2 trees that are growing together. They're intermingling their branches, and even their petals are kind of like intermingled over here and shared for the future offspring. So it's the ultimate, hey, you're not taking the sun away, I'm not taking sun away from you. In fact, we're collaborating and corroborating, and things are really getting better, right? So it's kind of like really weird, because it's almost like that there is like emotional maturity of some sort that I see over here, and there is like almost like some kind of like second coming, if you wish. You're going to begin to understand your partner, and how you will do that is by understanding that your partner functions like as a mirror, and this partner is reflecting back kind of like your deeper self, and supporting you that, hey, this is what you see in this mirror. Try to become whole. Not many people can do that. For that, you need to have huge self-awareness. But you're a fixed sign. Like, everybody depends on you. This whole freaking system depends on the fixed signs, right? We are kind of holding the things together. So hence, you almost like don't have a choice. And it can be very painful, continuously reinventing and refixing yourself. But you know what? Here you're seeing the wings of this love, and look, it's even understanding over here, kind of like getting out of some kind of like constraints. Maybe these constraints are societal constraints, maybe something that you kind of like aim for yourself. Maybe this is like what you're saying, well, I always did that, so hence I'm going to continue doing that. So you need to really question yourself a little bit, but those wings will take you much higher toward the universal love and these experiences in you. So it's going to even surprise you as well. I mean, the Source card is extremely powerful card, even though it's only an ace, right? So this is like something that you also need to kind of like keep in mind, that there's like some kind of like attitude over here of something can be fertilized, right? Because when we speak of being grounded or centered, kind of like we're talking about the source, right? Where you're being grounded, you're kind of like holding on, right? So this is like a creative project, and then we kind of like turn to the source. You're just not saying, hello source, come here, but it just comes to you. It is inside of you, right? It's very important. So this card reminds us there's like a huge I don't know, container or reservoir, like, I mean, of energy, of emotions that is kind of like available to all of us, and we just have to tap into that, not by thinking and planning, but by getting grounded and getting centered and getting silent, right? And that's what we saw in your general thing, like it was a little bit of preview. You know, people need their time off, you need your boundary, maybe the other person needs their boundary, right? So it's going to be really experiences of energy that you're going to have this year. So whether you're beginning something new and you're hoping for a new relationship, this is pretty much in the cards. It could also mean that some old stuff is going to really work this time around because you're actually going to be connecting to the source, and it really tells me that it was always there waiting for you, and you almost looks like it's even in your house. It's almost going to even come to your doorstep. It's not going to be I don't know, some big kind of like surprise, if you wish. So this is kind of like really interesting over here. So, and then you have like this adventure over here. This lovely card. Look at this girl. She is coming over here to the edge because she's attracted by these gorgeous colors coming through over here. So this is a truly spirit of adventure, right? It's curiosity, right? And the child has this innocence inside, right? So full of trust and kind of like coming to the edge of the forest or the darkness to see this rainbow, right? So this is like about this wander into the unknown. So this is the page of pentacles, or page of rainbows as they call it in this deck. And this kind of like represents the quality that can, you know, just come to us. It's almost like we pull out a skill that we didn't think that we have, whether this is in a relationship, whether this is in our home or in our work or in our office, right? Or even on the road, like you're going in the wilderness, you're doing stuff, you have never been there, and all of a sudden some skill gets transferred and you're realizing that. So I think you are moving into some kind of like new stage over here. It's going to be definitely new beginning. Pages to me are like aces. This is like some really big promise over here, and almost like it's going to be that you're going to be in awe and in wonder of life, that even the smallest things are going to become these great adventures. So you guys, you have like these kind of like, you're really tuned properly to intuition. So don't get in your own way, because the control can sometimes take this away from you, and that's kind of like what you need to really work on. If you allow, things will be just happening to you and for you, and it's like really, really amazing fashion. So let me just get Lenormand as well, because guys, if you don't know much excuse me, my coughing is still there, not as bad as usual. So it was a good day to do the readings. But let me check what I see here. I'll be offering full Lenormand readings as well. And it's interesting divination method. It can give you lots of details about the situation. So here you have the Lovers and the Fox. I think you're being a little bit suspicious. Maybe you're being a little paranoid, or somebody's being here paranoid that something will happen. Oh my gosh, you're going to betray me. This can also talk about somebody from work who is like doing something and digging something behind your back. So hence, you know, you are really wondering if you're going to be manipulated, what's going to happen. But truly, like, I mean, this is the major arcana over it. You will be able to kind of come on top. So this is talking about the top by being opening to the unknown and being opening to learning, and by simply opening your heart, because this person has to use all these methods because they actually don't possess what you have. So hence they have to use this like run around kind of like way. There is that sex that I told you, like, I mean, it's going to boil down to that. You're going to have a freaking wild sex. So just enjoy it, for God's sake, right? It's going to be really, really important, right? And here it tells me there could be arguments, and they're going to be suiting the arguments in bed, or it can be like, I mean, simply a little bit kind of like of kink games, as the card really show us here. But you're going to find a partner in crime, and it's going to be really lovely over there. Just if you're not planning to be pregnant, then, you know, invest in some kind of protection, because this is telling me that, you know, something can happen. Then you have the Ship over here. So there is like this move on into the next level. There is like something kind of like going in the next step and going in a new dimension. Something is really going. And even though for some of you I feel this is the partnership that has been there for a while, for the others I feel that somebody came back from the woodwork, or that you had like on and off kind of like a thing where you need to get some kind of like, I guess, your own edges fixed as well. But now all of a sudden things are actually working, things are going and moving in a good direction, right? It's almost like you're calling the shots. If you're the lady, if you're the man, then this lady is going to be open to it. It's going to be that adventure spirit, and things will be happening and developing just in the way they should. So, okay, my dear Scorpio, let me just check one more thing. You're going to get your Oracle card. So let me see what is the Oracle message for you for 2021. This one wants to come out, and you're getting Peaks of Joy. Isn't that freaking lovely? And it's a 33. It's a major arcana. It talks about the universal good, So you need to kind of like really think through those kind of like glasses and through those parameters. So let me read this for you. It says, your life is filled with happiness, so share it with others. Joy is yours today. No matter what your inquiry, you'll be happy with the results. You're coming closer to a sense of achievement, and you have worked hard for it. You are surrounded by true companions and events that are synchronistically arranged to bring you to the next level of your life. The world is singing a beautiful harmony. Life is exhilarating and hopeful. So let gratitude fill your heart, and remember to share your happiness, because joy is contagious. So guys, whenever you feel that you need to control, then you're going in the opposite direction. You need to remember the whole point is harmony. The whole point is like intermingling these branches, and it's almost the same, isn't it? Look, it's connection. It's kind of like this mandala. It's the kiss. It's embrace. And it's something that you're going to give you wings, guys. So it's going to be a freaking fantastic year for you. Some of you are going to get hitched. Some of you are going to move in. Some of you are going to get pregnant. And if you're without a partner, like in a year from now, it's going to be a completely different story and something that you're going to truly enjoy. So my dear Scorpio, don't forget to sign up for my mailing list. The link is down in the description, because I'll be sending via my mailing list 2021 numerological forecast, and only through my mailing list. And if you're not a subscriber and you got some messages, please click on subscribe and click on the little bell so you can get notification. If you're my past client, you can get personal annual forecast, which is discounted to $125 from $230, because it's pandemic after all. And for any other readings, you can still contact me via my website, or just simply write to me. I'm available, I'm around, and every Saturday at 11 Eastern Standard Time, I have a live kind of like readings, and it's kind of like really fun place. We call it Catterday. So guys, I really hope that you heed my advice and you kind of like let go certain things that are not important, that you enjoy this like really, really hot sex, and that you allow yourself to kind of like really blossom, because everything is positioned for that. So my dear Scorpio, happy new year, all the best, would love to hear from you, and until the next time, namaste.